Morning friends, lovely rainy morning here in Hong Kong. Today I want to talk about what China understands that makes it successful, that the West doesn't understand and gets wrong. One of the things is opportunity cost. I've talked about this before on my channel. I have a video about how people don't think about opportunity cost, and in China they do. A great example of this is their high-speed rail system. Most of the lines on it, they don't make money. Most of them lose money. I think only a handful of the most used lines are profitable. And that's intended, that's not an accident. They didn't build it and go, oh no, nobody's using it. They built it knowing well that it's going to lose money. It's all the other effects of having that high-speed rail that they were going for. And this is where China thinks of these. It thinks of the opportunity cost. And the other thing is, they seem to understand that the people who govern there, they seem to have a better understanding of complex systems. I don't know why that is exactly. Cultural, maybe. Maybe fewer lawyers and social sciences people in charge and more STEM people in charge. I don't know. But what I would say is, sorry about that. What I would say is that they looked at the big picture when it came to high-speed rail and clearly realized that it's worth building even if the lines lose money. So some of the effects that this has, the obvious one is people can get around, and when people can get around, people can do business. That's an obvious one. The other one is freight. You build these trains, they don't just move people, they move freight as well, and that basically enables all sorts of business. A great example of this is Guizhou. We're a very poor, very agricultural area. They built high-speed rail, and that immediately kick-started all sorts of economic development there because they had access to freight. People could easily go there. And then there's sort of third effects as well that are, I guess, harder to account for. And probably the biggest one is that now that there's high-speed rail everywhere, you don't need to fly everywhere. One, that saves people lots of time. You don't have to go to an airport and do the airport nonsense, which shaves basically, it basically adds 2 hours to your trip. You can jump on a train and it's way quicker, it's way cheaper, but then that's for the individual. For the government, they don't need to worry about running all these airports. You don't need to be buying all these planes. You don't need to be buying the fuel for the planes, running the airports, building the airports. Like, it's a huge effect, and this is just one thing. Like, I'm not that smart. There's 100 other things that I'm not mentioning that I'm not able to think of. So this sort of thinking is, I think, what China gets right, whereas in the West, it's I feel like people don't think in terms of opportunity cost, and they don't think in terms of complex systems and understanding them and all the effects that something has. And this is sort of what I think sets it apart. But that's all I wanted to say today. Thanks.